Have you ever had one of those streaks where everything just feels clicks? You're productive, focused, and showing up every day with discipline. You're finally doing the right things, sticking to your routines, and life feels like it's gaining momentum. It feels good. It feels like you figured it out, like maybe, just maybe, this time will be different. But then, almost without warning, everything seems to collapse. You sleep once, and that one sleep turns into two. You break the streak, you fall back into old patterns, and before long, you've crashed right back to where you started, or worse. And you're left sitting in the wreckage, asking yourself painful questions you've asked before but never truly answered. You wonder, what just happened? You ask yourself, why would I sabotage everything I worked so hard for? You feel that familiar shame building up inside, and you can't help but wonder, why do I keep doing this to myself? Your confidence fades, the momentum is gone, and a dark thought creeps in. Maybe you're not meant to succeed after all. But if that cycle feels familiar, it doesn't mean you're broken, it doesn't mean you're cursed or destined to fail. What it means is that you're caught in a hidden pattern, a cycle that most people never realize is running the show. And today, that's exactly what we're going to bring into the light. I'm going to show you what's really happening under the surface and how to break free from it for good. Step 1. Understanding the pendulum of progress. Picture a pendulum swinging back and forth. At first, the movement is subtle, barely noticeable, but over time it picks up speed and the swings get wider. This pendulum is a perfect metaphor for how your life operates in the background, shifting between growth and collapse, between order and chaos. When you begin improving, that pendulum starts swinging in your favor. You become more productive, you form better habits, your confidence grows. You keep your space clean, your mind sharp, and your actions aligned. But if you're not careful, that same pendulum will begin to swing the other way. And when it does, destruction sneaks in disguised as rest or reward. Laziness starts to creep in quietly. Old habits you thought were gone begin to resurface. Confidence gives way to doubt, and before long, the order you built starts to fall apart. You save money for weeks, then suddenly blow it on impulse. You keep your space tidy, then let it descend into chaos. You feed clean, then binge until you feel sick. And every time it feels like it just happened, but if you really look, you'll notice the swing points are eerily consistent. You start making progress, and then, right around the point where things get comfortable, you hit self-destruct. Again and again. It's not random, it's the pendulum. And if you don't learn to control it, it will keep pulling you back no matter how many times you try to rise. Step 2. All cycles are connected. Now it goes deeper, because your life isn't governed by just one pendulum. It's a system of many. You've got one for fitness, one for finances, one for focus, one for your mental health, one for your discipline, and one for your relationships. All of them swinging together in a delicate dance. And here's the kicker, they are all connected. When one pendulum starts crashing, it pulls the others down with it. If your room becomes messy, your motivation begins to vanish. If your finances take a hit, your eating habits and discipline fall apart. If you stop working out, your confidence drops and your productivity soon follows. That one sleep you thought was isolated starts bleeding into everything else. And when you let one cycle collapse, it becomes the trigger that knocks down the rest like falling dominoes. But here's the powerful truth. This chain reaction works in reverse too, and that changes everything. If you take control of even one cycle and maintain it, you start pulling the others back up with it. Clean your room daily, and you'll notice your thoughts feel clearer. Stick to your workout plan, and your energy for other goals starts to grow. Stay consistent with saving money, and your sense of control spreads to other areas. Just like one weakness can infect the whole system, one act of discipline can begin to heal it. Stability in one corner of your life quietly reinforces strength everywhere else. And when you learn to use that, when you anchor yourself in even one positive swing, you start creating an upward spiral instead of a downward swarm. Step 3. Consistency is about mastering the swing. The biggest lie people believe about consistency is that it means never slipping. They think it means showing up perfectly every single day, never falling off track, never making a mistake. But that's not what consistency really is. In fact, that mindset is why most people give up as soon as they fall. Real consistency isn't about perfection. It's about control. It's about understanding the swing and learning how to manage it. It's about shortening how far you fall when you do slip. It's about shortening how long you stay down. It's about recognizing the crash early and recovering faster every single time. Think of it like this. You'll never stop the pendulum from moving entirely. That's just life. But you can tighten its range. You can build a life where your lowest points are in total collapses, where your worst days are still better than what your old self used to call good enough. That's the new standard you begin to build to. A setback doesn't have to mean you're back at square one. It can just be a small bump in the road. The difference is in how you respond. And when you respond faster with more awareness and more skill, your progress compounds. That's what real consistency looks like. Not perfect execution, but resilient recovery. Because in the end, the goal isn't to never fall. The goal is to fall smaller, and to rise faster every single time. Step 4. Radical responsibility, owning every result. There's a hard truth most people will never fully accept. Everything in your life is your responsibility. That doesn't mean everything is your fault. But once you're conscious, once you can see the patterns playing out, it becomes your duty to choose what happens next. That's the difference between staying stuck and breaking free. You may not have chosen your birthplace. You didn't choose the family you were born into, or the pain and struggle you experienced growing up. But the moment you become aware of how those experiences shaped you, the next step becomes your responsibility. What you do with that awareness determines your future. No one is coming to save you. There is no secret rescue mission. And while that may sound harsh, it's also the most liberating realization you'll ever have. Because if no one else is responsible, then no one else gets to limit you. You are the one who decides what gets built from here. You can't control everything life throws at you, but you can always control your response. You can always control how you rebuild, how you adapt, and how you rise. The second you fully accept that, you stop being a victim and start becoming a builder. You reclaim the pen and begin writing the next chapter. Yes, it's heavy. Carrying that responsibility means facing the truth without excuses. But it's also where your real power lives. Because if your life is in your hands, that means you are not helpless. You are the cause, not just the effect. And that changes everything. Step 5. The death trap of denial. Denial is one of the most dangerous traps in existence because it's invisible. It doesn't look like a problem. In fact, it sounds like comfort. Denial tells you things like, it's not that bad, or skipping today won't matter, or everyone struggles, it's fine. These aren't just thoughts. They are chains disguised as mercy. The problem is denial doesn't scream. It whispers. And those soft, reasonable lies are what rob you of your future. Every time you let yourself believe those voices, you feed a part of you that wants to stay small. Every time you pretend the consequences don't matter, you open the door for the pendulum to swing back into chaos. I've lived there too. I've told myself the same stories. One late night won't hurt, or one unhealthy meal isn't a big deal, or one skipped day of work is harmless. But it was never just one. That one night became two. That one meal became a weekend. That one skipped day became a week of no progress and a month of self-hatred. Denial is how the cycle resets itself. It's how you slide backwards without realizing it. The only way out is brutal, unapologetic honesty. You have to face the truth as it is, not as you wish it was. And when that familiar voice shows up, whispering that this time it doesn't matter, you must confront it with fire. Don't let those thoughts slide by. Say it out loud if you need to. No, it's not okay. No, this path leads to destruction. No, this path leads to destruction. No, I've been down this road before and I'm not going back. The more honest you are, the quicker you break the loop. And the faster you face reality, the faster you start building something that actually lasts. Step 6. Breaking the destruction reflex. There's a moment that happens right before breakthrough. Just as you start to build real momentum, just as you begin to feel powerful again, your mind will try to sabotage you. And it won't do it with obvious self-hate. It will come disguised as kindness. Thoughts like, you've earned a break, or you don't need to be so hard on yourself. These thoughts feel warm. They feel rational. They sound like self-care, but they are the seeds of collapse. Because progress is rarely lost all at once. It's lost in small, quiet compromises that no one else sees. And it starts with thoughts like those. The only way to protect your progress is to recognize those voices for what they are. Lies, not helpful reminders, not innocent breaks. Lies. And if you don't cut them off at the root, they grow. You don't need to debate with them. You don't need to reason or negotiate. You need to destroy them. When one of those thoughts creeps in, call it out. Say it clearly. Say it firmly. Say it without mercy. This thought is the beginning of destruction. If I believe this, I lose everything I've built. I refuse to listen. Treat those thoughts like enemies, not friends. The faster you identify and reject those tiny betrayals, the stronger your momentum becomes. You stop the connects before it begins. And more importantly, you become the kind of person who no longer falls for the trap. That's when everything changes. That's when you change. Step 7. True consistency is a lifestyle, not a streak. Most people treat consistency like it's a lucky streak, something they stumble into hoping it stays. They hope motivation lasts. They hope they don't mess it up again. But hope is not a plan. Hope is not control. Hope is surrender disguised as optimism, and it rarely works. Consistency isn't about hoping you stay disciplined. It's about building a new identity entirely. The old version of you was ruled by emotion. You've worked hard when you felt good. You gave up when you felt tired. You sabotaged when boredom crept in. Death wasn't discipline. It was reaction. The new version of you doesn't operate on emotion. It operates on identity. You no longer ask, do I feel like it? You ask, is this who I choose to be? That's the difference between fragile momentum and real transformation, between relapse and evolution. True consistency means not betraying your future self for short-term feelings. It means your default behavior begins to rise, even on your worst days. The goal isn't to be perfect or robotic. It's to act in alignment so often that doing the right thing starts to feel like second nature. like breathing. Step 8. Pain is not the enemy, denial is. Most people spend their entire lives running from pain. The second something feels uncomfortable, they distract themselves, they numb themselves, or they just quit entirely. But here's the paradox that changes everything. Pain is not the enemy, denial is. Pain is information. It tells you exactly where you're weak. It shows you what still needs healing. It reveals which patterns are still in control. The problem isn't pain. It's pretending the pain isn't there. Denying discomfort is what keeps you stuck in cycles that never end. If you're broken, it hurts. That's good. It means your standards haven't died. If you're overweight and uncomfortable, it means you still believe change is possible. If you're inconsistent and fed up with it, that pain is the sign you're ready to evolve. Pain faced becomes fuel. Pain that's ignored becomes poison. So, when it shows up, after a setback or mistake, don't run, sit with it, study it, let it teach you. Let it remind you why you started, why you can't go back, and why this time must be different. Step 9. The final choice. Building or decaying. Every single day you are making a choice, not just with what you say, but with what you do. And every action, no matter how small, pushes you in one of two directions. You are building yourself or you are decaying. There is no such thing as neutral. There is no such thing as just maintaining. Each decision is a vote for strength or for weakness, a vote for growth or for regression, a vote for the person you're becoming or the person you're trying to escape. This is happening with or about your awareness. The question is whether you're voting consciously or unconsciously. The good news is that one powerful day of aligned action can swing momentum fast. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to win more days than you lose. You need to design a life where discipline carries you through moments when emotion tries to pull you down. Eventually, you become someone who expects to win not from luck, but because you built it brick by brick. And that future doesn't start next week. It doesn't wait for motivation. It begins with your next decision, your next action. Right now, not later, now. Bringing it all together. Most people stay trapped in cycles their entire lives. They build momentum, then destroy it. They start over again, hoping this time will be different, but it never is. They die still asking why they never reach their potential. The truth is, you don't have to follow that path. You've seen the pattern now. You understand the pendulum. You know how denial becomes destruction. And you've seen that responsibility is the key to freedom. But none of that matters if you don't act. The knowledge is useless without courage. The insight is hollow without movement. So now it's your turn to decide. Will you confront the thoughts that try to trick you into sabotage? Will you catch them before they reset your progress? Will you choose action even when your feelings scream for comfort? You don't need more time. You don't need a lucky break. You don't need to feel ready. What you need is honesty. What you need is movement. What you need is start building daily, deliberately, without compromise. The world isn't going to hand you success. It's not going to hand you consistencies. It's not going to rescue you. You have to build it. You have to save yourself. You have to walk into the discomfort on purpose and come out transformed on the other side. Inside the cult of me, that's exactly what we train. Not fluff, not fantasy, but radical responsibility, real consistency, and the kind of quiet inner strength that rebuilds your reality from the inside out. No shortcuts, no magic tricks. just real mastery, earned the hard way. The door is already open. The map is already in your hands. And now, the next move is yours. See you on the inside.